Photography has gained immense popularity in people's lives. Thanks to it, we can capture not only the bright moments of our lives, but also the most incredible and mystical anomalies. In this video, I've compiled a selection of the most interesting and mysterious photographs from the past that are difficult to explain. Enjoy watching. This photograph, taken in 1937, captures Colin Evans, a man who claimed to possess supernatural abilities. The image of the levitating man became a sensation of its time, as no one in London had ever displayed such a skill. This was exactly the kind of attention Evans wanted. During his seances, he told audiences that he had learned to levitate through prolonged communication with spirits who lifted him off the ground. While Evans seemed on the verge of success, some people noticed that he always turned off the lights during his sessions, with a bright flash occurring at the moment of his levitation. It was later revealed that Evans held a cord connected to a flash device in his hand. By jumping off a chair and pulling the cord, he triggered the flash, creating the illusion of levitation for his audience. This photograph, taken in the late 19th century, shows a group of men playing croquet. In 2010, it was purchased for just $2 by a California collector named Randy Guijaro. While examining the details of the photo, Randy realized that one of the men playing croquet was the infamous Wild West outlaw Billy the Kid. Randy took the photo to experts, who confirmed its authenticity and verified that it indeed featured Billy the Kid. It is believed the photo was taken on his wedding day. Sheriff Pat Garrett, who is thought to have killed Billy the Kid in 1881, is also in the image. This photograph is unique because it is only the second known image of Billy the Kid, and its value is now estimated at $5 million. The incident near Mount Kholat Syakhl, later known as the Dyatlov Pass incident, is one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century. In February 1959, a group of students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, led by fifth-year student Igor Dyatlov, set out on a hike through Mount Kholat Syakhl in Russia's northern Urals. The 9 members of the expedition were experienced hikers from the Institute Sports Club. Nothing seemed amiss, but by February 15th, the group hadn't returned home, prompting a search and rescue operation. It took more than a week, but on February 26th, rescuers discovered that all participants had died. The cause of their deaths remains a mystery. Theories range from wild animal attacks to an avalanche or even military exercises in the area. However, none of these explanations have been definitively proven. Throughout history, countless paintings have been created, and some have survived to this day. Surprisingly, some of these old artworks depict objects resembling modern gadgets, particularly smartphones. For instance, one painting shows a man handing a rectangular object with rounded edges, similar to a mobile phone, to a woman. Another depicts a Native American holding something that looks like a smartphone. These artworks lead us to wonder, could people in the past have known about future technology? Or are these similarities merely the product of our minds associating unfamiliar objects with familiar ones? Many are familiar with the painting Madonna with Saint Giovannino by Italian artist Domenico Ghirlandaio, but few have noticed an intriguing detail. The painting depicts Madonna with the infant Jesus and Saint John, but near Madonna's head is something that closely resembles an alien spacecraft. This strange object has an oval shape and emits a bright glow. Conspiracy theorists suggest it might be an alien spaceship. Upon closer examination, you can also see figures of a man and a dog in the background, gazing intently at the unidentified object in the sky. Additionally, Madonna's pose appears as though she is protecting the children. No one knows what the glowing object in the painting truly represents, but some art experts believe it could be an angel or a star rather than an alien spacecraft. This photo captures Ninel Kulagina, a Soviet woman who claimed to possess unique abilities. Ninel gained fame in the 1960s thanks to documentary films showing her extraordinary skills. In the footage, she could be seen moving objects, dispersing laser beams, and healing terminally ill animals. According to Ninel, She inherited these abilities from her mother. Although all observations of Kulagina were conducted under the supervision of scientists, skeptics still accused her of fraud. However, these accusations lacked evidence proving her deceit. Perhaps skeptics were envious of her abilities or simply unwilling to admit that unusual people exist in our world. In the 1990s, a tourist exploring a remote cave in the United Arab Emirates took an astonishing photo capturing an unknown creature. According to the man, when he entered the cave, he heard strange sounds resembling the cry of a small boy. He couldn't understand how a child could be in such a deserted place, but decided to follow the sound just in case. The man ventured deeper and deeper into the cave while the crying continued. At one point, he spotted a strange, large creature among the rocks. He took out his camera and snapped a photo, but at that moment the creature got frightened and fled. The man, scared as well, quickly exited the cave and called the police. During their investigation, the police found a child's skeleton in the cave, belonging to a boy around 6 years old. However, they did not encounter any strange creature. What kind of monster it was, and whether it had any connection to the child's death, remains a mystery. In 1975, Diana and Peter Berthelot, along with their 12-year-old son, went on a short trip to Tunstead in Norfolk, England. In the village of Worstead, they decided to visit St. Mary's Church, founded in the 12th century. Diana, who often visited churches, was seriously ill at the time. Inside the church, Diana sat on a bench and began praying for her recovery. While she prayed, Peter decided to photograph her. There seemed to be nothing unusual about this, but when the couple developed the photo, they were shocked. Behind Diana, there was a white shadow resembling a ghostly woman in old-fashioned clothing. A year later, the Berthelots visited the church again. This time, the priest told them about the legend of the White Lady, who appears in the church only when a kind-hearted person prays for healing. Amazingly, Diana indeed recovered from her serious illness almost immediately after visiting the church. This photograph, taken in the 1930s, became a subject of heated discussion after it was published online. At first glance, nothing seems unusual, but if you zoom in, you'll notice a young man who looks as though he arrived on the beach from the future. He's wearing a t-shirt and shorts, while the clothing of everyone else in the photo is consistent with the fashion of the time. Some believe this man is a time traveler who ended up on the beach by accident. However, it's also possible he simply rolled up his pants and shirt, making him stand out from the others. The Ghost Girl is the name of a series of postcards featuring photographs from the early 20th century. These postcards were stored in the archives of the Krasnoyarsk Regional Museum and forgotten for years. However, in 2016, they were rediscovered and gained immense popularity online. The postcards were named The Ghost Girl for a reason. In each photograph of various buildings, a strange girl can be seen. The photos span different years, but the girl's face remains unchanged. In every image, she stares eerily at the camera without smiling. She is always dressed in the same elegant dress, coat, and hat, and is consistently positioned in the background. Despite extensive research to identify the girl, her identity remains unknown. Some suggest she may be a real ghost haunting the photographer. Apollo 14 Inches was a spacecraft that facilitated the third lunar landing by American astronauts in 1971. The crew consisted of Commander Alan Shepard, Command Module Pilot Stuart Roosa, and Lunar Module Pilot Edgar Mitchell. During the expedition, Shepard and Mitchell were on the moon's surface, while Roosa remained aboard the spacecraft, photographing the moon. Among the numerous photos taken during this mission, some depicted a strange glowing object surrounded by a bluish aura. Upon closer inspection, the object appeared to have a T-shaped structure with a long cylindrical part. Many theories emerged about the object's nature, but none were confirmed. It is possible that this was an alien spacecraft. Interestingly, this object has appeared in other NASA spacecraft images taken in different years. This photo features an airship flying over Huntington, West Virginia. The mystery lies in the fact that the photograph was taken several years before the first airship appeared in the US. So how could such a flying vessel appear in the sky? Some suggest it could have been a Zeppelin from another country. However, this theory is flawed because Zeppelins of that era were not capable of such long flights. Moreover, the first passenger airship route was not established until 1910 in Germany, between Friedrichshafen and Dusseldorf. Others speculate that the photo shows an alien airship. But why would it resemble our earthly Zeppelins? To this day, the mystery of this photograph remains unsolved. At first glance, this photograph seems ordinary. It shows children on a walk. But if you look closely at the man in the background, you'll notice his striking resemblance to Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is a well-known character from the horror film series A Nightmare on Elm Street. According to the plot, Krueger was a serial killer who gained the ability to kill in the dream realm thanks to dream demons. He is remembered as a slender man with a burned face and body, wearing a red sweater with green stripes and a brown hat. The man's clothing in the photograph resembles Freddy Krueger's outfit, especially the hat. Some photographers, struck by this resemblance, decided to check the photo's authenticity. However, the examination revealed that the photograph had never been edited, so it's just a coincidence. Hampton Court Palace in London is recognized as one of the most beautiful palace complexes in the UK. It served as the royal court for centuries and is now a popular tourist attraction. The palace is not only a significant historical landmark, but also, according to locals, a place haunted by ghosts. Legends claim that the palace is home to the ghost of Lady Sybil Penn, the wet nurse of King Edward VI, as well as the spirit of Catherine Howard, the fifth wife of King Henry VIII, who was executed at the age of 19. However, CCTV footage from October 2003 suggests there may be more ghosts in the palace. On that day, surveillance cameras captured a translucent figure emerging from the palace doors, suggesting a ghostly presence. The identity of this spirit remains unknown. This photograph, taken in 1919, shows officers of the British Royal Air Force. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary group photo, but its story is anything but. A few days before the photo was taken, an officer named Freddie Jackson tragically died. However, when the photo was developed, the men were shocked to see Freddie standing among them, smiling casually near his best friend. This incident has never been explained, and the photograph is still considered one of the most compelling pieces of evidence for the existence of ghosts. This historical photograph was taken in 1887 and shows the Eiffel Tower under construction. The Eiffel Tower is undoubtedly the main attraction of Paris. Its construction began in January 1887 and was completed in March 1889. In just over 2 years, builders erected a 330-meter metal tower of unique architecture. The construction of this architectural marvel was timed to the 1889 World's Fair held in Paris. The Eiffel Tower served as the entrance arch and was initially intended to be dismantled after the event. However, the project won the admiration of the fair's visitors. In just 6 months, over 2 million people visited the landmark. Moreover, the Eiffel Tower remained the tallest structure of its time for 40 years until the Chrysler Building was constructed in New York. For this reason, it was decided not to demolish the Eiffel Tower. In 1987, a pensioner from England visited a military technology exhibition in Yeovilton, Somerset. At this event, visitors were allowed not only to sit in the cockpits of military aircraft, but also to take memorable photos. The woman asked her friends to take some photos of her, one of which captured her in a helicopter. When the pensioner received the developed photos, she was shocked. The photograph of her sitting in the helicopter's cockpit clearly showed a ghostly figure. She shared this discovery with her friends, who in turn reported it to the press. The next day, the photograph appeared in many British newspapers. In interviews, the elderly woman recounted that when she sat in the helicopter cockpit, She felt a sudden chill but didn't think much of it. Moreover, both she and the photographer insisted she was alone in the aircraft during the photo session. The photo was examined by experts who confirmed its authenticity. This leaves a strong possibility that the woman encountered the ghost of a pilot that day. This photograph shows Thomas Marshall, James Duckett, and Donald MacArthur, three men who worked as lighthouse keepers on Eileanmore Island in Scotland. They all disappeared in December 1900. This photo was taken shortly before their disappearance. The men were experienced lighthouse keepers and were on a 2-week shift. However, when a supply ship arrived at the lighthouse on December 26, 1900, no one was there. The ship's captain concluded that the keepers had been swept out to sea during a storm and perished. This version is still considered the official cause of their disappearance. However, there are some inconsistencies in the story. The keepers' bodies were never found. If they had gone outside during the storm and were washed away by waves, why did they leave their raincoats inside the lighthouse? Moreover, uneaten food was discovered in the dining room, suggesting the men were interrupted and subsequently vanished. Some believe this story hides a mystical mystery, as there seems to be no other explanation for the disappearance of these men. At first glance, this photograph might seem unremarkable. But what if I told you it features not two beautiful women but two real ghosts? At least that's the claim of the staff at a hotel in Norway. According to them, strange occurrences had been happening in the hotel for years. At night, dishes often broke in the bar and guests' rooms were mysteriously locked. Many also reported hearing a woman crying. To investigate these phenomena, the hotel installed infrared cameras in the corridors. A few days later, they captured the images of two women walking hand in hand down the hallway, completely nude. Staff members noted that paranormal events occurred again that night, and these women could not have been guests, as no one had ever seen them before. This photograph was taken in a forest in Chile. It shows two men on horseback, with a strange creature on the ground beside them. The creature looks unlike any known animal and resembles a small humanoid with a large head. Since the photo was taken in motion, it's hard to determine what the creature is. Many online users believe it to be an alien or a forest spirit. Skeptics, on the other hand, argue that the photo has nothing to do with mysticism or extraterrestrials, suggesting the creature might be a running child whose blurred outline was captured mid-motion. Debates about the photograph remain unresolved, leaving the creature's identity a mystery. In 1966, NASA astronauts published a photo taken by the Lunar Orbiter 2 satellite in the western part of the Sea of Tranquility on the Moon. The image revealed unnaturally elongated shadows cast by mysterious objects shaped like Egyptian pyramids. Some scientists believed these were not natural formations but actual structures. Since no humans could have built pyramids on the Moon, one explanation remained: they were the constructions of advanced extraterrestrial civilizations. Initially, NASA scientists showed great interest in these objects, but they later officially declared them to be lunar hills, with the unusual shadows caused by the sun's position during the photo. However, many people were unsatisfied with this explanation and continue to consider this photograph evidence of extraterrestrial life. This photograph gained immense popularity after being posted online in 2004. Thousands of people have tried to solve its mystery, but no one has succeeded yet. The photo was taken in 1941 during the opening of the South Fork Bridge in Canada. It shows a crowd gathered for the ceremony. Among them stands a man who looks strikingly out of place, while the other men wear suits and hats. He is dressed in a t-shirt with a graphic design, a cardigan, and sunglasses. In his hands, he holds an object resembling a smartphone or a small camera. This unusual appearance led many to believe he was a time traveler who had arrived at the bridge opening from the future. Unfortunately, there is no information about this man. Why he was dressed this way and whether he was truly a time traveler remain unanswered questions. In December 1924, a tragedy occurred aboard the tanker Watertown as it traveled through the Panama Canal from San Pedro. 2 sailors died while trying to deal with a kerosene leak. The following day, the crew buried the sailors near the Mexican coast, and the ship continued its voyage. The day after the burial, the ship's first mate noticed a chilling anomaly in the water. 2 male faces were visible in the waves, eerily resembling the deceased sailors. The first mate reported this to Captain Keith Tracy, who initially didn't believe it. But upon stepping onto the deck, he saw the phenomenon himself. Thinking he was losing his mind, Tracy called other crew members, who confirmed seeing the same thing. The captain then brought a camera and took several photos of the faces in the waves. One of these photos was of excellent quality, clearly showing the 2 ghostly faces. To this day, no one can explain this anomaly. The photograph has undergone multiple examinations, all of which have confirmed that it was never edited. It is believed that Antarctica was first discovered by a Russian expedition led by sailors Fabian Bellingshausen and Mikhail Lazarev in 1820. However, in 1929, Dr. Halil Edem discovered a strange map in the basements of the Topkapi Palace. The map depicted the Azores, Canary and Atlantic Islands, Japan, and even Antarctica with incredible accuracy. This map was created in 1513 by Turkish admiral and self-taught cartographer Piri Reis. Interestingly, Piri Reis made this map based on the works of other cartographers, some of which date back to the 1st centuries AD. What's most astonishing is that Antarctica is depicted on Piri Reis's map without its ice cover. It's worth noting that the southernmost continent of our planet was ice-free at least 6,000 years ago. This artifact baffles scientists, as they still cannot explain who could have reached the shores of Antarctica 6,000 years ago and transferred its coastline onto the map. In 1998, during the STS-88 mission of the Space Shuttle Endeavour, a photograph was taken of a strange object in space that was later dubbed the Black Knight. According to conspiracy theories, this object has been orbiting Earth for over 13,000 years. The world first learned about the mysterious satellite in 1899 when Nikola Tesla, during his experiments, detected a signal from space. Tesla was convinced the signal came from an extraterrestrial probe. Later, in the 1950s, several scientists also recorded similar signals, which supported the idea that Tesla was right and that the satellite wasn't a myth. After the photograph from Endeavour was released, many believed it depicted the Black Knight. However, NASA representatives stated that the object in the image was actually a thermal blanket used during the attachment of the American module to the Russian module on the ISS. Thus, the mystery of the Black Knight's existence remains unresolved. This photograph, taken during the Cooper family's housewarming celebration in 1950, has sparked debate for decades. It shows 2 women and 2 children, but in the upper left corner, there's a figure resembling a person hanging upside down. According to the family's patriarch, nothing unusual was noticed during the photo session, and the figure only appeared after the photo was developed. Some people believe the image captured a ghost who may have been unhappy with the new occupants and tried to frighten them. However, this theory lacks evidence. Photographers examined the image's authenticity, confirming it had not been edited. Experts then suggested the figure might have resulted from a mistake by the family head, possibly using the same frame of film twice. The first exposure could have been of the family, and the second of a dancing guest, with the 2 images overlapping to create the effect. While this theory sounds plausible, the true identity of the hanging figure remains a mystery. This photograph is perhaps one of the most famous mysterious images. It was taken in 1964 by a firefighter named Jim Templeton. Templeton, an amateur photographer, decided to take a picture of his 5-year-old daughter in the scenic area of Berg Marsh. He didn't notice anything unusual at the time, but when the photos were developed, he was shocked. In one of the pictures, behind his daughter, was a figure that resembled an astronaut. The photo became a sensation. UFO enthusiasts believed Templeton had captured an alien, while skeptics argued it was a hoax. Kodak experts examined the photo and confirmed its authenticity. Photographers, however, suggested the figure might have been Templeton's wife, accidentally captured in the frame due to the limited viewfinder. The figure's white appearance could have been caused by overexposure. While this theory is plausible, many would agree that the figure doesn't resemble a woman who accidentally appeared in the shot. These photographs feature one of the most mysterious figures of the 1960s, nicknamed Lady Babushka. Her story began on November 22, 1963, the day U.S. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. During the investigation, authorities noticed a woman in a scarf and sunglasses, resembling a stereotypical Soviet grandmother, filming the event with a camera. Initially, the police sought her out because her footage might have captured the assassin's face. However, investigators soon noted that her presence on Elm Street seemed suspicious. Unlike the crowd, which scattered upon hearing gunshots, the woman continued filming the scene. It was speculated that she might have had a connection to the assassin. Efforts to identify the mysterious figure were unsuccessful, but in 1970, a woman named Beverly Oliver came forward, claiming to be the Lady Babushka. However, investigators found numerous inconsistencies in her account. To this day, the identity of Lady Babushka remains a mystery. The incident known as the Phoenix Lights occurred on March 13, 1997. Late at night, thousands of residents of the American states of Arizona and Nevada, as well as the Mexican state of Sonora, witnessed a series of optical phenomena in the sky. The U.S. Air Force identified these lights as flares dropped by a fighter jet during exercises. However, most people believe otherwise. There are reasons for this. First, the lights maintained a consistent altitude and relative position. Second, they emitted a stable glow. All these features suggest that the lights weren't flares. But if not, then what? Unfortunately, the mystery of this incident remains unsolved. Many people believe that extraterrestrial spacecraft were in the sky that night. Even Arizona's 19th governor, Fife Symington, claimed he saw a spaceship shaped like the letter V. In 1967, a short documentary titled Bigfoot was released. It was filmed in the forests of Northern California by Bigfoot hunters Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin. According to the filmmakers, they were fortunate to finally encounter Bigfoot that day. The film shows a creature resembling the legendary Sasquatch. It looks like a large black ape, but walks confidently on two legs. The film faced widespread skepticism, with many doubting Patterson and Gimlin's claims. Critics argued the film was a hoax, featuring a person in a costume rather than an actual Bigfoot. However, some believe the footage is the only evidence of Sasquatch's existence. And that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon. Your engagement is the best reward for me. Thank you for watching and see you soon. Bye.